Hello, everyone. This is Mr. Lima again with the lesson plan for May 1st for his Woodland Park Middle School 7th grade math students in remote learning. The objective for this week is for students to continue to demonstrate mastery of expressions and equations through the assessment that we're taking in class. By the end of this week, students should have completed the assessment, both parts, since we're doing part 2 in class this week. More on that at the end of this video. You are also supposed to complete the portfolio problem for this unit by May 1st, which is Friday of this week. I will accept it after that, but we really should try to wrap it up before then so that you can get feedback and also so that you can focus on power focus areas like you're supposed to after this week in school. So as far as the portfolio problem is concerned, if you go to the unit page on Summit and click on the unit, you will land here on the math unit overview page, which has awesome resources, by the way. But if you scroll all the way down, you can find the link to portfolio problems. And if then you go up, you can find the instructions, which say to do one of the 3 following problems: expressions and attention challenge, or building defense, which are like Google Forms with problems that have to do with expressions and equations, or magic squares, which is like a virtual game. You have to complete 6 required puzzles and then invent one of your own and take snapshots of it all to prove that you did it. If you're having problems with any of these portfolio problems, send me a message through email or come see me in office hours and I'll try to help you out. The next thing I want to talk about is you're also supposed to do 1 to 2 hours of practice every week on Monday and Friday. You don't have to, but Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 1 to 1:45, that's when you're supposed to be doing that. So as far as math practice is concerned, this week I would focus on trying to finish the portfolio problem or work towards passing a PFA. As far as passing a PFA is concerned, a new thing that I have posted on all the PFAs that people haven't passed yet a lot or are struggling with, and eventually I'm going to do it for all the PFAs, is if you go to the top of the PFA, you'll find these awesome resources, which is the closest I can get to giving you a virtual workshop. Miss Orahood made a practice worksheet. I also made an anchor chart that has everything you need to know, the most important things you need to know about the subject. And then I made a playlist of videos where I recorded myself explaining the anchor chart in detail with examples. And I also posted my own practice worksheet or workshop with answers, also posted. And then in the workshop playlist, I also go over those in detail as well. So that's the closest I can do to giving you a virtual workshop. But we are also doing the workshops in person ourselves. This week, for example, we are doing Tuesday at 1 p.m. I am doing measuring circles. The link is accessible from the lesson plan of this week. And I'm going to post it in the classroom as well. On Wednesday, Mr. Shaldell is doing scale drawings at 1 p.m. On Thursday at 1 p.m., I am doing scale drawings. And at 1:30, Mr. Shaldell is doing proportions and percentages. And on Friday, Mr. Shaldell repeats his scale drawings workshop one more time at 1 p.m. So these are great resources for you guys to take advantage of if you're trying to struggle to pass some of these PFAs in math. You can also spend math practice time meeting with me in my office hours link, and that could include if you're trying to take a retake for one of the sections of the test that you did not do well on. You could also spend time watching videos from my remote learning playlist where I break down everything we learned in this unit, and that could be helpful, especially if you're still need to take the test or do the retake. Speaking of that, another thing you can do during practice time is work using the review, which for the last 3 weeks, I've been telling you to work on it. The review includes simple questions, answers, access to the unit review material, and video tutorials of me going over everything that's going to be in the test. So the best way to practice for it, if you're doing bad on it, is to actually do that. Lastly, if none of these things apply to you, you can do some Khan Academy or MAP or Moby Max practice, or practice other things that you have discussed with Mr. Lima, including other subjects. But make sure you check with Mr. Lima first, because during that math practice time, you are supposed to be doing math practice and not other things which are on the screen right now. And so if you need to work on something else, make sure you're checking with me first, because I will be monitoring to make sure that you're actually doing what you're supposed to be doing. Okay? So don't forget, by the way, that I am posting a survey every Friday, and I really appreciate your feedback to help you reflect on what you're doing in math and what I can do to help you more. And some of the things I'm doing to help you, don't forget, are posting video resources on this playlist. And also, now I did a workshop videos that are on top of every single one of the PFAs in Summit. And on top of all that, I have awesome resources on the Google Classroom and in the Summit units to support you. But if that is not enough, don't forget, I'm available during office hours from 8:45 to 9:45 each day, and during math practice time in the afternoon from 1 to 1:45 if I'm not doing a workshop in my office hours link. Now, you can also come to my office hours to talk about recovery options, whether it's a checkpoint, a unit, or your entire math grade that you want to make it better. All right? So let's get to class today. We are taking a test for the rest of the class, and A link will be available on the actual class itself, on the actual meet, and it will only be available during the meet. So if you miss the meet, you actually have to take the retake, and you won't have another retake to take. So it's very important that you are in class, because that's the only chance you get to get the real test. After that, you have to take the retake, and that's the only time you get to do it. You have until the end of the class to do so. I'm actually going to give you a full hour, so you can do it until the end of the beginning of the next class. But after that, if you haven't done it, you have to submit whatever you got, because I have to finish the test, and they will no longer be able to accept answers past that time. While you're taking the test, you must stay logged down into Meet, and you might have nothing open except for the Meet, maybe a calculator tab, and an actual test itself. We are all taking part 2 of the exam today, even if you are not done with part 1 or you've missed it. Make sure you come to retake that if that's the case. It is encouraged that you do all the work on paper to help you make sure you make less mistakes, and make sure you read all instructions carefully. And remember that I can monitor your screens, so I'll be watching to make sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. As soon as you finish the test, hit submit. I will grade the test and send you a score report with a full breakdown on how to do each question, to help you perhaps do it better on the retake if you need to do that. Retakes are available during office hours or afternoon math practice time in my office hours link. Next week, I'm going to be doing a workshop in class on inequalities, which is something that you need to pass that last PFA we haven't really covered in class. But I've already recorded the videos that are on the PFA at the very top, and they are also in the playlist. They're the very last videos of the playlist, me talking about how to do inequalities. It's very similar to doing equations, so most of you should probably ready to kind of attempt that. But if you need support, or if you don't want to wait until next week, you can start watching that. They're the last videos of the playlist, or they're listed at the top of the PFA, like the other PFAs that I've prepared. All right, so that's it. Good luck with the test. Don't do anything to make your mom proud, and I'll see you next week.